Oh, it's a beautiful day, outliers. Niiamah Shang here, and thank you so much for letting us be a part of your journey here today. We have an incredible roundtable here with three outstanding trailblazers who continue to find ways to elevate themselves and elevate others through the process. What's really awesome here is that you have people that are coming from all different walks of their life and their entrepreneurial career and journey. And I think we're going to be able to have like a very robust conversation here that's really hitting on a number of different places, right? Let's make sure you get a chance to get to know these outliers. So, Shamarcus, we'll start with you. You mind letting us know more about you and the game that you're currently playing?
Absolutely. I really thought I was gonna go first. So I'm in my head, I'm like, yeah, I'm getting ready. I'm getting ready. Well, I'm Shamarcus Nimmer, and the game I play is life. Let's start off there. Um, I actually help people bake their confidence cake. The reason why I started helping people bake a confidence cake is because, for one, I didn't have as much confidence as I have now. And I know that that was something that you sort of go into opposed to just coming out with it. I always tell any of my clients, whenever you have confidence in doing something, whatever that one thing is, you'll do it way better and you'll do it way quicker as well.
Well, thanks for being here, Shamarcus. I
No
appreciate you playing the
problem.
game. Steve, how about you? Let's get to know you. Tell us more about you and the game you're playing.
Okay, I'm Steve Smith, and the game I'm playing very similar to Shamarcus. But I look at it as inner confidence, and the reason I focus on that is because most of the people I work with, who are all incredibly smarter than me, need to develop that ability to see things out that are already out in their world, right in front of them, that will shorten their path between where they are now and the success they're trying to get to. And even when they see that, many times they don't have the confidence to put their arms around it. But once you put that awareness and the confidence together, you've got somebody who's basically going to drive the ship by themselves. And all I have to do is help them navigate it.
That's awesome, Steve. Well, I'm glad that you're here. I'm excited to play with that in this conversation. Right now, we have a confidence theme coming out here. Shelby, let us know more about you and the game you're currently playing.
Okay. Thank you for having me. My name is Shelby Chang, and I am actually a trans person. And the game I'm playing all this past 15 years is Identity Shift. So it kind of piggyback the two gentlemen just mentioned, because in order to have confidence, sometimes you just have to dissolve your old identity and shift into a new identity in order to have that confidence. Yeah.
Mm.
We're gonna be playing here today. It's so funny. I think like my language just says like what's the game you're playing? The first time I said it, like it just like I'm like, yeah, this is how I'm thinking about things. But I think it also just puts us in the space of being able to play while we go through it, right? And so like, what I want to do is bring us into a space right now where we're getting the chance to see how you play your game differently. All right. There may be other people there may be other people who do something similar, but there's something that you do that very, very few others do. And the way that I want to look at this here is almost to give a bit of a, I don't know if maybe it's a magnifying glass. I don't know what it is. Maybe a looking book here for outliers to kind of hear how each of you have like put your own unique strengths out in the world and leverage that for your business. So my ask of you is this: what's something that you do for your business that most other people think is like either like a small thing or they don't even notice it, but you're like, if they really knew it, they would realize like it's the core of everything that you're doing. Like I'm only ever
Mm.
doing this, you know? There's something there. What I'll do here is I'll toss the question in for the group, and then you can just unmute yourself and answer in here, and I'll come out from there. And if you can just say your name the first time so the outliers get a chance to associate you, that'd be wonderful. All right. Anyone want to get us started?
Yeah, I'll jump in.
Thank you, Steve.
This is Steve. Uh, let's see. I think that the thing that I bring to the coaching arena is a sense of authority and authenticity. And what I mean by that is many of the many of the business sectors I operate in are either things like professional service. You've got healthcare professionals, you've got CPAs, you've got trial lawyers. all the way up to industrial blocks with a lot of engineering companies. And so all these people have massive amounts of technical expertise behind them. But most of the time they show up, and especially if they're in a leadership role, they show up without ever having done any work on them and how they interact as people. They tend to rely disproportionately on what they learned in higher education, what certifications or licenses they got. That kind of speaks for them in terms of their credibility. And while that's important, when you're in a leadership role, it's all about people. And if you can't connect effectively with people and get them to trust you and be willing to follow you and commit to, to going after the vision that you've got for your business, you're kind of dead in the water. And so I run into a lot of people who are mentally really, really sharp, but confidence wise, in terms of who they are as individuals, they're naked a lot of times. And it's not that they can't learn it, it's just they've never been exposed to it. And so once you kind of help them get inside themselves and kind of peel back the surface of what they've been walking around with, then you have something you can work with. And for those that are willing to go that journey, it's an exceptional experience. Not everybody's willing to do that. Sometimes it takes a while for them to kind of get up close and personal to it. But when they do, a lot of things change in terms of how they're running their business, how they're operating their profession. And most of them are extraordinarily thankful for the awareness of what actually works. So that's my story, and I'm sticking to it.
That's awesome, Steve. Shelby, Shamarcus, anything that come to y'all? I see you, Shelby.
Um, I I'm currently in the real estate business, and I found that it's a people business, even though the home is actually the product and the service, but the people is actually the business. And I think that the benefit of me going into this business is our community is actually mixed with different walks of life, different background, different races, if you want to put it that way. So I tend to understand like how different culture that people embody into themselves growing up and background beliefs and everything. So when I work with these different clients of real estate, I kind of understand them in a way, and I put myself in their shoes many of the time. And the bottom foundation is because it's not easy to be who I am, especially in these past 5 years. And just need to have that not giving up attitude, because a lot of time when you go through a real estate transaction, it's not just one, two, three. It has some different obstacles, different problem that's gonna come up for different reasons, and I have to help my clients' hands. And most of my clients are first-time home buyers, so they need someone who is like this to representing them, to understand them, and to be part of their journey, home ownership journey. So I think that the unique part that I bring to this table or this business for my client is this unique part of who I came from and who I am as my background. Yeah.
Thanks, and Shamarcus.
Well, what I've learned over the years that I've been coaching people, when I first started, it was something that was so minor. And I was told that if you let people talk, they'll talk about themselves all day. And learning that helped me out a lot because of the simple fact if I'm helping you go through something, I need some tools, right? But you're going to give me all the roadmap that I need in order to put these tools right here. The only thing is I have to let you speak. So a lot of people don't just don't listen as much as they should, because I'm telling you, like 9 times out of 10, if you let someone talk, all you have to do is ask, so what do? You start that off and they're going to run down everything they do and who they do it for and all of these other good things. And I'm like, okay, so I learned early on that once you let someone start talking, all you got to do is start taking notes. Okay, boom, 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 boom. And then you'll be able to help that person way better, opposed to just trying to pry it out of them, if that makes any sense.
All right, Shamarcus, I have a question because I totally get what you're talking about. Did you become aware of that before you started coaching, or was learning to coach, is that what brought that to the forefront for you?
So with me, it wasn't, it was before I started coaching. Like
Okay.
I'm as everybody know here, well, not everybody, but most people know, I'm good at one thing. That's talking, and that's keeping people's attention, right? I
Hmm.
don't know how God gave me that gift, but he did. So the thing is, I wasn't I was coaching before I was coaching, if that makes any sense.
Hmm.
And the thing is that one thing I just told you, which was letting people talk, I would always do that because I wanted to find out more about you. And without asking 1,000 questions, all I have to do is ask one outlining question, and you're going to tell me everything else I need to know. I hope that was good enough.
Yeah. No, I mean, the reason I asked was because I perfected that process through my learning, coaching, and practicing the business I have today. But in my prior career, I was in consumer products manufacturing for about 30 years. There were people there that did that just as a normal way of communicating with people. And they got phenomenal results just about all the time. And nobody could figure out how they did it. And now, as I look back on it, I know exactly how they were doing it. We just didn't know how to what it was called, or, you know, we were just in awe of these few people that would go into a conversation, ask two questions, wouldn't say another word for 20 minutes, and leave the room, and everybody thought they were the smartest person they'd run into all month. And it was like, wow, I wish I could learn how to do that. Well, now I know how to do it. I just wish I could have learned it a little earlier in life, you know?
I like that you bring that in, Steve, because like you put out like I work with a lot of really great people. I'm not trying to be the smartest person in the room.
No.
You know, right? And so I what I like here, it both like part of what I'm hearing is like the power of leverage here. It's like understand like and the leveraging portion of a question. You're like, I don't need to know. I just need to create the opportunity for you to be able to go into that in a meaningful way. Let me know if I'm off with anything here. Like,
Absolutely not. That is one of the things that I really pride myself on is I like to listen now. At first, I'm not gonna lie to you, it was like, oh my God. But now that I'm be honest. I was like, man, why does this person keep talking? And what again, you learn. Okay, so if you want to know anything about anything, you just ask the right questions. And that's with anything. I'll give you another example. I had a client come to me and ask, okay, so how do I know what my prices are? How do I know if my prices are too high? How do I know if my prices are too low? I was like, okay, so we're going to do the same thing. We're going to call 5 of your competitors, whoever they are, and you let them talk about themselves. And I guarantee you, they're going to tell you boom, 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 boom. And after my client tried it a couple times, they were like, how did you know people like to talk about themselves? There you go.
Yeah, it's just human wiring. I mean, everybody, look, I had a similar situation. It was back before COVID, but I was interviewing a prospective doctor, an optometrist, and I could tell in my first couple of minutes that he wasn't really gravitating towards this kind of help. He had been encouraged by people in his office to get it because he was, he just had a lot of bad behavior, and finally people had to speak up. And so we were talking about the whole process, and he finally just said, what do you have that's going to make me a better doctor? And this question, exact question, used to hit me very early, and I never could answer it. And I finally figured out the right way to answer it. And I said, Doctor, I said, there's absolutely nothing that I have now, have had in the past, or will gain in the future that will make you a better optometrist. I said, what I'm going to do is make you a better businessman that owns an optometry service. And that's when the phone line went silent for like 15 seconds.
I love hearing these like counter like ways of approaching this here. Shelby, is there anything else that you want to add to this year? I'll bring another question otherwise, but let me just check it.
Yeah, they are both right, correct, because with real estate business, it's about listening, right? We need to know what the client
Yeah.
needs, not, I know a lot of agents out there, they kind of market more ego way, like, oh, I sold this, I got sold as many homes, but at the bottom line, at the end of the day, is not about how much you've sold, how much client you have, or how much money you bring in. It's what your client needs. And for coaching, I'm just got into a little bit. I'm into in training, so coaching is about listening. It's not really teaching others. It's about listening and give the feedback, reflection of themselves to let them see themselves in a way. Yeah, that's my take.
So now y'all got me thinking about things because we've been able to create some general consensus here, right? We started off with confidence and now we're on listening, right? And so in a bit, I might just like mess with that whole thing up there, right? But for now, I'm curious for you all about in your experience of the relationship of listening and confidence. So for anyone out here, like it's been, look, let me frame this. The outliers and trailblazers listening and on this, like they've already created things. They're high performers, right? They're out there. They've created. They're not like gonna. It's not like even like should I start the business? They're like I'm in it. I'm in like year XYZ, and now it's like okay, do I choose the safer path so that I can provide for my family, or like how do I not mess up what's going on, so on and so forth, right? And so it's interesting because I feel like confidence almost is like a renewable resource. Like you can you use it and then you keep growing and you're like, I don't know if I'm confident in this. So I'm very curious about any kind of either leverage you have or the relationship that you may see between listening and confidence. And if there isn't one, don't feel like you need to make one on the spot. But I'm wondering if if these are two separate silos or if there's something where there's overlap in a meaningful way. Anyone want to take that one on?
I can
Um,
go first. Yeah,
okay.
yeah. Um, co Confidence, like I mentioned before, before I switched to any of this identity, I have very, very low confidence. And once I kind of align this identity within myself, I grow my confidence. And once you have a confidence, somehow your people around you, your friends, your family will still start to come to you and ask for advice and ask for your maybe opinion or certain views or help sometimes. So that you become a confident person, you will slowly become a listener of the people around you. And that way, that's the main reason I kind of pivot my business from real estate and now it's blending into coaching a little bit spiritual side because I hear people they need the help on this because many people go into the real estate business. It's the same, it's the same law, same transaction, same way of doing transactions, same contract. How come some people do it so well and how come some people don't? You see, so that's a part of the confidence, and I feel that from part of my experience, personal experience, I can bring that to the table and help others find out why is it not working, to make it better for them. So I think that's my view of between confidence and listening.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Well, the things I've observed over the years is that confidence kind of comes in two buckets. The real inner confidence that is not necessarily visible on the outside, a lot of times is steeped in humility. You always know you can learn more. You always know you can be a little better, and you strive for that on a regular basis. When you become overconfident, that's when it starts showing up on your sleeve. You're wearing it, and that's when you can lose it. And when you lose it, sometimes there's some people that it's such a hard fall, they never get it back. But the connection that I've always made is in the pursuit of fortifying and refining your confidence. The only way to do that is kind of what Shelby was talking about. The more you're willing to listen to other people, whether they're kind of like-minded or have disparate points of view, the more you can kind of sift through that and figure out what you can grab onto yourself. and it's just you're constantly like polishing the ruby, you know. It's never going to get too shiny. Um, that's what you have to do. And if you're willing to go through that and recognize that you're not the smartest person in the room, and what you say other people don't necessarily have to listen to, that humility will kind of direct you and help you stay in a certain place that people will accept and be attracted to, and then they'll tell you all their secrets. All you got to be willing to do is listen.
I'm
I
guilty of overconfidence in the past. Just want to bring that up.
I feel a
I
little.
see you don't have any sleeves on today, so you've gotten
Oh,
rid of that,
yeah.
obviously.
I do feel the confidence part and the listening part, especially if you've already started your business, is I feel like sometimes people don't understand how far they went. So whenever they do have those confident lax moments, they don't see it. And I'll give you an
Mhm.
example. So picture you riding a bike, right? When you first start riding a bike, if you've never rode a bike, the first time you start riding a bike, you're gonna fall, correct? That's the
Right.
that's how it happens, right? So now that you fail and you get back up and you try to ride your bike again and you fall again. The thing is, people don't understand. You're judging from falling, not from where you started riding the bike at, because the way where you started riding the bike at to what you're doing now, yes, you failed. Yes, it's going to happen. Yes, that's a part of the learning process. It's the whole learning process itself. But the thing is to listen and be more confident in, okay, just turn around and look at where you started, right? Once you look back and be like, oh my God, so I started 3 miles that way. Granted, I failed 2, 3, 4 times, but look how far I am from where I started. And you're laughing. I
So,
hope that
Marcus,
made
the,
sense.
the reason that I'm smiling right now is that you made me think about my first time ever skiing. And
Yeah.
I ended up on a mountain, and my friend convinced me to get on the ski lift. And so we get on the ski lift, and she's pointing things out to me. And she's like, "Hey, look, it's not like that snowy. So there's an ice patch over there. Skip the ice, and over here it melted. So like, skip that too. In fact, when you just get out, like just hang over to the right, and we'll go down the mountain together." Well, as my skill set would have it, I don't think it's luck. I think this was actually based on my lack of skill. I got off the ski lift and immediately veered left into a grassy patch. And the only thing over that grassy patch was like one sliver of ice, and then I immediately started going down there, speeding up, and went down the whole mountain backwards. If I was
Mm.
like I tried to pizza wedge and foot kept coming up. I just went down the mountain backwards. And so when you talk about like falling, I fell probably 6 times and never. This has been like 10 years ago from there. I haven't gone skiing since. But I don't think I've ever looked at it and said, hey, by the way, I've been skiing before. Like I never looked at it like beforehand. I had like if this was a trick thing, if this was like a trickster like thing, I would have excelled. Look, I can go down this mountain backwards here. So it made me smile here because it gave me a chance to relook at something here that I have been holding um with yeah with an arm far away. Like don't get me close to that. Don't get me, I won't ski again. And you just really gave me a new opportunity to look at it.
I'm glad I was. And I just tell people, because think about it like this. Even your skiing adventure, right? I went skiing. I've
Oh,
only
I like
went
that
once.
adventure. Thank you. It was an adventure. I'm gonna just like
Adventure.
take it like I'm gonna reshape that experience for me right now in this conversation. Go ahead, see an adventure.
So for your skiing adventure, like when you first started, I bet you were scared. I bet you were like, oh my God, what's going to happen? Now, if you go back to that slope, you're going to be like, okay, look back. Now, when you look down, oh my God, I've went all the way down there. Granted, it wasn't the way I wanted to, but I went all the way down. So now I guarantee you, your confidence is going to be a little better, all because you've already done it, right? You've conquered that fear. And I always tell people, fear is not real. As what all you have to do is go and try to do that thing, right? Once you try to do that thing, even if you're scared, you try to do it, and next thing you know, you're gonna look and be like, oh my God, what was I so scared about? But I don't know, because I know when I went skiing, it hurt, because I'm a little older, so it hurts when you fall.
Right. Right.
You know, this is making me think here. So outliers, one of the things that's coming to me as we're having this, you're seeing me have this revelation in real time here. But the element of you become a different person once you actually take on the activity. There's a person you were beforehand, and there's a person you are afterwards, and that second person has now gets to go through this, and they're not the same. They have now had the experience, whether it's the experience of going down the mountain backwards, or falling off the bike, or starting out the business, or making that proposal, or whatever it is that you had, right? And so as you're saying this, it's making me think about this. I'm going to invite you, Outliers, to think about what's something in your world right now that you've been on the sideline on, looking at it and saying, well, maybe trying to even just figure out the perfect way to get it done. And how much more would you learn just by going in and being able to reflect on it? Steve, Shelby, anything you wanna add on to this part of the conversation? All right.
Well,
You don't have to, I just want to make sure that I don't move on
yeah, well,
beforehand.
I just want to comment on the fear because I do understand a lot of people in my community, they have a lot of fear going, let's say, just by going outside. And I feel that, like what, I'm sorry, I cannot say your name. Yeah, just like what he said about if you step it out and start trying and like you're doing the snowboarding and ski or it kind of give you a momentum and you will keep moving forward. And then once you keep moving and then looking back, the fear is dissolved, in a way. Yeah, so that's why I want to share it.
Yeah, you asked about what are you sitting on the sidelines with? And for years, for me, it's been writing a book. And I mean, I have literally hundreds of articles I've written. I've got a YouTube channel with about 170 videos on it. So from content, I have no problem. But it's just the arduous nature of writing a book with with the real possibility that when it's done, it's going to be crap, you know? I mean, I had a book writing coach tell me one time, he goes, just do it and get it over with because your first one's going to be SHIT and you'll learn from that. And then the second and third one will be better. And I thought, God, I don't know what if I want to give up all that time and effort because, everything is a toss up. If you're going to give it over here, you're not going to give it over there. So I've kind of been holding back on it. Well, AI kind of helped me get through that because my podcast, which my son and I do together, we have about 178 episodes, logged in. So when we figured out what the topic of the book was going to be, we went through the episodes and we picked out the ones that spoke specifically to the topic. And out of that 178, we had about 31 episodes. Now you're talking, 45-minute episodes. So once we transferred them over to a translatable written, form, and started using AI with them, we basically got the skeleton to the book, just doing a better job of organizing it. It's our content, but it just got us over that hump. Now all I have to do is go in and kind of color it up, which I'm more than happy to do. But so that I'm really kind of excited to see what's going to come out of that. Now, hey, you know what? It could still end up being crap, but it'll be crap I feel good about. So so we'll see. But it is the whole idea is that and I don't even know who told me about this, but I sat there and I thought, wow, I've got all this content laying around. I've just got to find a way to organize it and get off the ground with it so that I can add some anecdotal stories and some of the happy stuff to fill it in, but have the structure already taken care of, which admittedly I was just not willing to go into because it just seemed like just an overwhelming project.
I love hearing this for two reasons. One, Steve, I'm thinking about the book that, like, the 200-page book that me and my teammate wrote here. I authored, she wrote assessments, all that stuff that basically is sitting on my Google Drive waiting to go out into the world. And there's something.
you've got two customers right now.
Thank you. Right. I'll like I'm as I'm hearing this, yeah, like y'all are making me remember things in the past where I'm like, oh, what if it was different? Like you're just like, hey, look, what if it is crap? Like get it done so that you can go on to the next one. All right. And
Right.
I think that that's something that like it's an interesting thing because it would be way more interesting of a conversation to be like, oh yeah, I remember when I published my book 3 years ago, instead it's still in like I haven't been able to like that's a sideline thing for me. I haven't been able to cross it out in a way that I feel that it's out in the world. I've shared it, but I feel it.
Right.
So I like that element because I'm like, time will pass. And when you look back on it here, like what's the story you want to tell? And I realized like oh, I'm actually kind of tired of the story. Let's just get this out there so that whatever the next one happens to be, we're good. So I want to say thank you. You've given me that. And the second thing that came to mind as you were talking was just like the almost like the non-linear, like we just don't know what our experiences are going to turn out to be. Like you didn't
Right.
start episode 3 of the podcast and said, can't wait for 100 and 175 more to go. Gonna make
No,
this into a
we didn't
book.
think we would go that far. I mean, we had no idea where all this was going to end up. So you're right. It's just it's almost like you're navigating dark territory.
Yeah, yeah. Well, this is why we call it Outliers Edge, right? Because and I want to like because we're on the edge of this. Like you don't know. It's not. It's like you're walking out here, and I think that I'm really starting to become a big fan of time because it's like the person you are now. Like you have this asset of 178 different episodes sitting there, and you're like, and now you also have like the tool of AI. You're like, oh, I can repurpose this thing there. But when you started, that wasn't available. That wasn't the plan. And I
Right.
like that element of like, hey, like, what if we just jumped in and it will make sense later when it can make sense. But for right now, we do what we can with it.
Right.
Anyone got anything on that one here? Like, I'd love to just keep that
I
open and see what how you feel
I
about it.
I guess I always have to be a little bit different.
Yes, thank you. That's why you're
I
here.
try to be a little bit different. It's funny because I had a client who did the same thing, who was wanting to do something but was so nervous about doing it, right? So I gave her this thing, two things. One, you can't get it wrong. Why you can't get it wrong is because it's your story. It's your life, right? I always say that. So she was like, "Oh, blah blah blah." So I'm like, "Okay, I got one better for you. Who and what's your favorite genre of music?" And she said it was country music. Absolutely. So who's the worst country music singer of all time? And she said, I forgot who she said. I was like, guess what? That person has thousands and thousands and thousands of people who think they're amazing. That's going to be the same thing as you. The only difference is they're putting themselves out there. And she was like,
Yeah.
I don't like you right now. I was like, well,
Yeah.
this
Job
is what
well
I'm here
done.
for.
Job well done. There.
But I say that in all aspects is you can't get it wrong. That's one of the big. I feel like that's one of the biggest things that most people are afraid of. You're afraid of getting it wrong. You because growing up, you got to make good grades. You got to do this. You got to do all of these things. And once you find out you can't get it wrong, I guarantee you'll do for one, your confidence think goes way up because you can't get it wrong. And the thing is, once you start doing that, it's just gonna open up doors to other things. I hope that made sense.
Mhm.
So Marcus, I will say this: you have yet to not make sense. Everything you have said has made sense. So you keep checking in with us on that, and I'm gonna call you in right now. I'm gonna call you in. Like we talk about the confidence and all this stuff here, and I've been listening. Like you make sense, and I call this not to be funny, like, but I want to say it explicitly because this happens for us as outliers journalists. Like we're saying things most other people don't say. We're visionary leaders. We're leading from the front. We're creating paths where other people don't. And so like to be able to come back in and like know that there's like I want to let you know like you make sense. Like this is working. And for any outliers out there that ask yourself, does this make sense? Like trust yourself on this because it really does play through. All right. Awesome. Awesome. Shelby, I saw you unmuted. Was there anything else you wanted to say on this?
I just want to say, conclude what everything we just said. My personal experience is I used to be very afraid of talking or speak like this. And because my English wasn't that good before, and I always have that conscious doubt within me. And even though I actually took communication arts in college, which film, TV, and radio, and I never took a radio class, and now where I'm sitting here with you guys. So
Nice.
so that's why, when you push yourself, you can make it, and just avoid. I think the most fear that everyone have is the judgment from others. And once you overcome that, then you don't know how far you're gonna go. Actually, yeah.
And, like, since you brought in the judgment of others, and like I feel like we should stay on it just a little bit longer here, because it plays out on every single level, Steve. I'm sure
Mhm.
that when you talk about professional awareness and listen, like the inner confidence, there's some element that comes out here. So this may be like our last like big open question here, but I am curious about how you all have. How you all navigate that judgment component. And what would be really fun for me would be if there's any ways that you've taken what might have felt like a negative in order to be like of being judged, and found a way to turn that into a positive, like maybe even something that you crave or you look forward to. Does anyone have anything on that one?
I think early on growing up, people use that term judgment. Back then, it was just criticism, you know, it was just always pointing out the shortcomings. And if you grow up in that, you become aware of that, and then you're less risk taking in terms of trying new things. And it wasn't until the second company I worked for, and I was getting ready to move up into a bigger executive level role. And the guy that I was working for at the time was kind of a mentor of mine. And I'll never forget, he said this one time. He goes, "Don't measure your progress with someone else's yardstick." He
Say
says,
that,
"We
say that,
all
say that
have a
one more time
habit.
again, Steve. I think that is worth saying twice, please.
Don't measure your process, your progress. Don't measure your progress with someone else's yardstick." He goes, "We all have a way of comparing ourselves to other people who usually have gone the path longer and are at a different stage of their development. And we're looking at that for the first time and saying, why am I not there now?" We've conveniently not looked at the road they've traveled all these years to get to that point. And so we're immediately kind of downplaying or criticizing ourselves in our heads, because we're not there. And he said, you can't do that. And so ever since after that, I don't look at judgment. In fact, I'm probably socially ignorant when it comes to that, because a lot of times they'll say, "Oh, you're being judgmental." I don't see it. I just see information that people are relaying. And it's my job to poke through it and figure out what's of value and just let the rest of it go down the drain.
Seeing a lot of nods over here. Shamarcus, Shelby, what's coming up for you on this?
Wow. Uh, so one of the things, Steve, that was great. That was really great.
Thank you, Shamarcus.
I I was told one time, this is something that's always stuck with me. It took me 38 years to get to 38. And when I first heard that, I was like, what the crap is that? What do you mean? What are you even talking about?
Right.
And it was broken down that now I take it and I tell people, hey, man, how old are you? 22. It took you 22 years to get to 22. You just didn't get straight from 1 to 22, right? And the thing is, what you're going to learn, and another thing that I took from one of my mentors is, whoever is telling you whatever critical thing that they're telling you, right? Whatever it is, it doesn't matter. I'll give you an example. Okay, your nose is big, whatever that is. If the person told you that your nose is big, 9 times out of 10, they think that their nose is big and they want to bring all the eyes to whatever it is that you have going on. And once I learned that, oh, game changer. You can say what you want to say, because I know
Right.
now, okay, you're just trying to bring all of this, all of your insecurities and all the things that you feel on me. And it's not going to work. I'm way colder than you. That's what I tell people.
Oh, and by the way, Shamarcus, I've heard that exact comment many times.
Y'all, yeah, this has been really, really a fun conversation. I appreciate each of you here and for like bringing in and demonstrating what both listening and confidence and the other places like what I like about this is it's a conversation not just about the words, but it's about how we're having the conversation. I appreciate each of you for that. We're going to wrap up our conversation here today with two things. Well, first, I'm going to ask outliers for any of you that are listening to this. This podcast grows by word of mouth only, and also through service. And my ask is that you join us in the service of this podcast. How does that work? You can go and share this on your socials and let people know about it overall. But the real service comes in when you go and think about one person in your life who would benefit from hearing this conversation. Someone that might be looking to expand their confidence or some other elements that you really think would serve them based on your life, and let them know like, hey, I was listening to this episode and I thought of you. All right. If you can share that way, I have this thing that I just call the one person, one conversation at a time initiative. I think that this is how it goes. Like this is where it actually ends up being great. And if it ends up being viral, awesome. But like we all would love for this message and this episode to hit the person that it's supposed to hit. And
Right.
like, and that's the whole purpose of all the other stuff. So we can just shortcut that and be like, this is where it's supposed to go. I mean, you'd be doing everyone a favor here. And like, I think everyone wins. All right. So that's my ask of you outliers. Like please go and share with intention. Uh, for everyone here in this conversation, as we wrap up, what I want to do is uh we'll wrap up in this way. I wanted you to share your contact information. What's and realistically the best way for them to contact you. There we have multiple platforms. Just like help streamline it up for us. If we really want to find you, we'll find you. Help streamline it for us, and then share with us. I'll give space to this one here. I think we have just enough time. Um, actually, no, we're gonna go with this. Share with us an insight that you are taking away from this conversation. We'll let outliers sit. They've gotten what they came to get. And I pay attention to this one now because sometimes people get tricky and they'll give an outsight, which is like they're like, so as like they'll say it as if it's happening to them, but they really mean it for the audience. I'm like, no, like this is for you. What are you leaving here? And I think it's just a really great way for us to be in the uh, acknowledgement of each other for what we have created together. All right. And so I ask that you can share an insight. If no insight came to you, that's fine. Don't make one up. Like we're okay. All right. So best way to continue the journey with you and your insight from today. Why don't we go? We'll start with Shelby. I'll go in reverse order this time.
Okay. The take that I get from this whole show is since I'm a beginning try to get into the coaching business, and I do see Marcus and Steve that how they approach their own experience and stories and implement into their business and like I mentioned, they are good listeners to begin with and to inspire others and to motivate others. And I myself just coming here, I'm motivated, So and by listening to everyone's stories, I feel like I'm in the right path, and this is very valuable, just for not just for the audience, but for me myself as well. So thank you very much for including me.
Nice.
Yeah.
Thank you, Shelby. And
Thank you.
if we want to continue down the journey with you, what's the best way for us to do that?
You can find me on Instagram. I am Shelby. I am SHELBE. That's the best way.
Thank you so
Thank you.
much.
Mhm.
Steve, how about you? Can you let us know?
Yes, if you'd like to contact me, the absolute best way to do it is just to go to my website. It's growthsourcecoaching.com, or you can just Google Steve Smith, executive coach. Don't do Steve Smith because you'll get 10 pages of professional sports people. I'll never make that. But if you put the executive coach in there, you'll find me. And going to the website will give you a little idea of what I do, and that'll just make me a little more familiar. And I always encourage people to do that. The takeaway here today has been, which I found remarkable, is the stuff we've been talking about is kind of basic, but it's very evergreen. I mean, humans have been struggling with this for centuries, and I don't see AI replacing this. I mean, if you can ask the right questions and start the right conversation and get the right insights, you're always going to have a prosperous coaching venture. So yeah, I was just glad to hear that the confirmation in your own experiences that you guys are essentially doing the same thing.
Thank you, Steve. Deeply appreciate you. So, Marcus, bring us home here.
Thank you so much, Steve. Thank you so much, Shelby. I will say, Shelby, and I hope I don't get too much off. What I've learned and what really got me on my path that I'm on is I found out that no one can tell your story like you, and someone needs to hear your story in order to make their day great. And when I figured that out, this is what brought me to coaching. And I remember you asked me about that, and I'm sorry,
No, it's okay, Shamarcus. The reason I'm doing this is that you're getting very close to an outside, and so I want to hear your insight. That like I stay on that one here. So thank you. Thank you for that. And what's your insight?
and
How are
my
you
insight,
transferred from that?
one of my biggest insight on here was this was amazing conversation, and I learned that everybody can do the same thing, and everybody is doing somewhat of the same thing, but it's the way that they're doing it. I'm learning about, like, I'm gonna take some of Steve's stuff. I hope you don't get mad. I'm gonna take some of his.
Hey, steal whatever you did because I stole it from somebody else.
It's just it's always good to know that you're on the right path. This morning I asked God, I was like, hey, just show me I'm on the right path. And for this podcast to be here and for us to talk about all these things, it let me know that, okay, I am on the right path. So I want to thank you, and thank you for bringing me on, and thank you for having this outlet for us to actually um, bring awareness and also just talk amongst ourselves. Like, I feel like this was nothing but a big conversation.
So that was the goal. That was the goal. What's the best way for people to go deeper down the journey with you, Shamarcus?
Nimmer Consulting, Nimmer Consulting. You can go on my website. I have all of that information there. But yeah, thank you so much again.
Well, thank you all here.
Thank you guys.
Thank
You
you.
really brought something special to this conversation here. And Outliers, until the next time we talk, be you on purpose. Journey on.